back in Nigeria as a designer was very, very interesting for me. It was fun. I would say I was very lucky, especially after completing my basic boot camp. I got an internship with the portfolio that I created at the time. I was an intern for about 8 months or 1 year thereabout. Then I became a full-time designer in the company because of my growth. Then I think I worked in that company for about maybe 2 years or a year plus. And then I now got a better offer as a full-time designer elsewhere, which was very good. And there I worked on very, very interesting projects. Along the line, I was getting side gigs. And I would say that these experiences generally just shaped me to be knowledgeable in different niches rather than being a niche designer. Say for instance, just I'm a designer in fintech, so it gave me like broad aspects into like different kinds of design. I was doing technical kind of design, like building IoT system, very technical things and random things as well. And also it was not just limited to designing apps. I was doing apps, websites, dashboards, just basic general digital products, and it sort of like contributed to my growth. Yeah, I think it was fun. At some point, I'm not going to lie, I had 2 jobs. Yeah, it's all part of During my CWES, I knew I was not going to chase a career in medical microbiology. Along the line, I started learning how to code. I was learning Python, and I think I was doing well, but I promised myself that I wanted to do something I enjoy. I didn't really enjoy it. My cousin told me about UI UX because I used to do cute stuff for my friends on Canva and all of those things, Photoshop, and it was like, why don't you go into UI UX rather than graphics? We had a lot of back and forth, but eventually I knew I had to make up my mind. So I saw this boot camp where you could learn the basics of UI UX for 3 months, and then I told myself that if I didn't enjoy the course, I was going to like go back to Python. And surprisingly, I registered for that boot camp with my own money, because I knew that if I had collected the money from maybe my parents or from my cousin, I might not be serious. But because I had paid with my money, I became very serious about it, and I sort of like enjoyed how everything went. After the classes, I see myself spending hours. Sometimes I even forget to eat. I'm just there on Figma. I'm trying to do things. If I see a design today, I want to replicate it. I want to know why they did some things. And yeah, that was how I found UI UX, and I enjoyed it and decided that I was going to pursue it. In Nigeria, on a monthly basis, with my 2 jobs, sincerely, I was earning close to 1 million. And sometimes when I get like side gigs, it will be like over 1 million in a month. I knew that I could save much, or I could achieve much more if I go beyond the borders of Nigeria, because I know how it can be quite limiting. I knew that there were opportunities out there waiting for me to claim, and I've never been the type to be very comfortable in the little things. I always aim for the bigger picture. I didn't study this thing in school. It doesn't matter anyway, but for me it was more like, okay, I've always wanted more than just a first degree. I wanted another degree, and I'm like, okay, probably if I should go and learn more about this thing, it was going to like open more doors or better doors for me than I was enjoying in Nigeria. So it was a thing of me wanting more and pushing myself into the more zone or beyond the comfortable zone. I didn't want Sakpa to deal with me. For me, the moment I landed, I felt like, okay, I had the skills, I could be flexible. For me, it felt like I was going to get a job almost immediately. I won't have to struggle, and I was going to pay up the remaining part of my tuition, because I only paid half of it before coming here. But few weeks after I got here, or let me say 4 months, I didn't get a basic job, that could pay my bills and handle things. But thankfully, I still had like my design jobs from Nigeria that I was just using to sort some things like my house rent. It could only sort my house rent and food. Even though I had to struggle at some point, I'll cry, I'll call home, please help me send money. My friends too were trying to be supportive, but there's only little to what they can do. And it was so ridiculous because I had to change Naira. I think it was at that point that pounds went really high. The exchange rate was very insane, and I was just very sad. It was a very, very sad reality. It just felt like, okay, now you are in for it. And at some point, I had regrets. Like, I think I should have stayed back in Nigeria because I was not suffering. I applied everywhere. I was trying to like get, admin roles or something. But no, my first job was a waitress. And I will tell you that after my first shift, I got home and I felt sick because I had to stand for like 8 hours. And I had not done that before, And I also, even though I enjoy smiling, and as a waitress, you have to smile, but it was so difficult for me. I promise you, like the reality was different. Like I thought I could undo difficult things, but it was a very, very different and difficult reality compared to like what I had imagined before coming to the UK. The most difficult part of being an international student in the UK is having to balance work with school. I'll say that to say that when we were in Nigeria, like now, for instance, when I was doing my first degree, I didn't have to chase after, I need to survive, I need to make money in order to pay up my rent, I need to pay my bills, I need to do one or two, so it was just me focusing on school. But coming here, it's a different ball game. You have to focus on school, and at the same time, you have bills to pay that are silently waiting for you. And there's the restriction. As students here, you are restricted to just 20 hours a week. And most times you get maybe 16 hours, and even the 16 hours is not guaranteed because I was a waitress. So sometimes I would go to work and my manager would say, oh, so sorry, you would have to go back home today. It's a bit quiet. And there's me that has, made calculations about what I was going to earn at the end of the month, and it's no longer complete, and I need to pay my rent monthly, I need to pay bills, I need to do things. And having to also get back from school, it's more of research. You are not taught a lot in the classrooms. You have to go beyond just what you are being taught in order to learn or in order to do well. You have assignments chasing you, you have deadlines to meet. I also had like side things that I was doing. I would say that work-life balance is very difficult, especially because you know that you are doing the work in order to survive, and at the same time you don't want to fail as well. I mean, in terms of your academics, you need to be hands-on, you need to be there, you need to do your coursework, you need to start thinking of, you have group assignments at some point, and you have to meet up with your course mates, and your timelines are like very different because some of us would go for shifts, some people are not going for shifts. So for those people, they are out of touch with our realities of having to balance work and school. So they'll be like, oh, we need to meet at this time, because they already have parents who sponsor them, so they don't have to work or anything. And I'm like, please, I need to be here at this time, I need to make money. And also, so it was very difficult trying to find that balance. So managing the school activities and managing the reality of being an international student, especially because you have to pay your school fees as well, because we were given months where we had to pay a certain fee. And like I said, as a student, you are only able to do 20 hours. So there's little to what you make in a month. You can only cover your bills. It can't really cover your school fees. So I think that's the hardest, having to think of, okay, the school is going to chase me at any point if I default with the payment. So yeah, I think that's the most difficult part. Yeah. Okay, so speaking about my most heartbreaking interview experience, I had it on the 13th of February 2026, right? And I remember that date vividly because I came to Manchester to see my friends, and on that particular day, before coming, I had done the 5th stage of that interview. It was the final stage. With the way the interview process went, I felt like I was the most desirable candidate. At least that was how the people made me feel, and I felt like I knew what I was doing. And I had gone to London for that final stage. And before then, as a believer, I had prayed, I had fasted for over a week. I'll wake up at midnight, play praise song, wear the clothes I was going to wear for the interview, dance around my room for 30 minutes to 1 hour, pray to God, dance to God. I was I'm not even going to ask God this time. I was going from a place of thanksgiving because I knew God had done it. So it had to do with a lot of, my faith was really high. I was declaring things. I was declaring scriptures. I was very, very sure I was not going to doubt at all. And I had done that interview, right? I came to Manchester to see a friend. And I think then we were just chilling, and I think we were on Snapchat making a video. She was like, we should dance. We had just finished making a video, and it was time for me to save that video. As I was just about to, imagine going to your phone, I was just about to save that video. I just saw the email notification. I was like, oh, like I was weak to my knees, and I lost it. I started crying. Like, I didn't even know what to do. She didn't know how to console me, because like it felt like I had gotten the job, honestly. Because even when I went for the interview, I even had recommendations for them, like, oh, I think, oh, you're not doing, things that we can say it was in like the blind area or blind spot that they would not have thought about. And they were really happy about the recommendation. They even wrote it down like, oh my God, you are so resourceful. Like, they called me really cool names, or they described me well. So I had already seen myself in this company, but unfortunately I got the unfortunately, and like I almost lost my mind. I know that I was very disappointed, and I looked at God and I'm like, God, what else do you want me to do? Like, I don't know what to do again. I had praised, I had prayed, I had declared, I had prepared, I had, oh God, it was very, very heartbreaking. February was very, very heartbreaking for me. In terms of my journey to securing a role in design, I would say that I started applying last year, February. That's because at the time I was already writing my dissertation. Even before then, I had done a few applications, but obviously they will ask about my right to work. I was still on a student visa, and my expected time of graduation was June 2026. And because of that, most of them would not get back to me, or they would say some of them would give me feedback that your expected time of graduation is like quite far away. So I knew I had to stop, because it was more like filling water into a basket. So I started in February 2025 because I was writing my dissertation and I was supposed to be done with school in June. So I knew if I should start applying, I was going to get a job. I thought I was going to get a job in 4 months or 3 months, and then you know how the recruitment process can be, because especially for design roles, the minimum interview stages, you will have to go through series of interview stages, but like the minimum you would ever do is 3. That's if you are not applying for civil service kind of design roles, or maybe NHS. I knew I had to start on time, so I was like, okay, if I should start in February, by June I should have completed the recruitment process, and I should just resume a new job in June 2025. So I thought. And at the time, the strategy I was using was just applying to the jobs that I wanted. I was not spreading my tent enough to other roles. It was more like, okay, I see this job, I read the job description, I think this is what I can do, or this is what sounds interesting. So I was limiting myself, and I think for the first 3 months I didn't get interviews, or probably got like 2, and I had to like speak with people in recruitment, and someone had to just go through my CV for me. I think, yeah, it was quite interesting that my previous CV, a friend saw it and it was like, no, what do you think you are doing? And then he had to help me like revamp my CV to fit the things that I had done. It was up to date. And then I was watching videos on YouTube, Instagram from people that had gotten jobs, and they'll be like, oh, improve your portfolio. I'd done that so many times. So, and they were like, oh, tailor the job description, or tailor your CV to the job description. Which was like quite time consuming, because I was trying to balance my dissertation at this time with getting a job, with also preparing for interviews. I don't know, I actually got an internship, but it was not even in design, and that was the strategy that I thought was going to work for me, because I felt like once I complete that internship, or before I complete the internship, it was going to serve as a foot in the door, if that makes sense. More like I'm able to then apply internally to like the type of jobs that I wanted. But things did not go as planned. After my internship, I didn't get retained, because at the time the company had just acquired a new company, so they had to like prioritize other people from that company. So we weren't retained for our internship, and then that was when it became very clear that yeah, I'm in for it. I'm done with school now. My visa is about to expire. I need to switch to the postgraduate visa, and I knew that it was like is it like a time limited visa, so I had to change my approach into like doing more applications. And that's where you see me, I use different platforms rather than one. I used like Indeed, Glassdoor, Welcome to the Jungle, there, everything. I was always applying everywhere and every day. So I make sure that every day I do application. I think whatever application I see, I apply. And also it was a thing about, applying for even things that I knew I wasn't qualified for, or that would need like, I don't know, I was just dreaming big. I was applying for both junior roles and senior role, even though I knew I was like a senior at the time. So I was just applying for everything every day. And so it became a game of numbers. And then I started getting more interviews. So it became a weekly thing. Like every week I would have interviews. In fact, my friends were like, they were always laughing at me like, oh, let's do it. I have interviews. Like in a good week, I could have like 3 interviews or 4. And sometimes in a day, I can have 2, because I had to also, mind you, I was just doing like basic job in order to survive. So I had to just balance everything. So it was a long journey. I would say I applied to over 1,000, or no, over 2,000 jobs. I had over 130 interviews. Yes. And the sad thing is, for some of them, I was getting to final stages and I didn't get a role. And I think it was very heartbreaking. And this is where I need to talk about it, because my friends felt like, oh, you should be grateful that you are getting interview. But I tell them that it's even worse that you are getting interview and you are about to get an offer, but you're not getting the offer, because for every interview you get, there's like this expectation that your mind sets. You're like expecting that, okay, this is going to become the potential offer, but it doesn't come. So for every of those interviews that didn't work out, I had to nurse the heartbreak. And there was also the feeling of guilt for me, where I felt like a failure, and I felt like I was wasting the same interview that people are begging to get. So it had to do with a lot of mental positioning, correcting, like forgiving myself, and knowing that I was not the problem, it was just the job market. And then some people will come up with, oh, visa issues, so we don't sponsor, and you're also on a post-study visa, there's nothing we can do. It was a lot of back and forth, but I knew that I was not going to give up. I think, yeah, that was the strategy of not giving up, and also believing that I was going to get it. Because at some point, some people were advising me to like switch careers, but I'm like, whatever career I'm trying to switch into now, there are still people on that straight line as well, waiting to get a job. I'd rather be on a straight line until it gets to my turn in design, things like that. So yeah, it became a thing of not giving up, because eventually all you need is just a yes, especially because I was getting to final stages. I knew it was not about my interview skill, it was just about getting that job that was right for me. And thankfully now I have a design job. I'm a senior UX designer working for a digital health company. And I think it's just quite a rewarding journey, and I'm happy to be here after all the things that I've been through, because it wasn't easy at all. I think it's like my favorite place to sort of like chill, because the views, and yeah, I get to chase after the tram. Tram station. So pretty much it. When I got the offer, right, I would like to say that the final stage, which was like the 5th stage, it was a physical interview. So I had to travel down to the office. Yeah, the interview went well, to be honest. I was a bit sure, but because I had gotten to final stages like multiple times, I was not anticipating, because I'm like, at the end of the day, they'll come back to say, we're so sorry, you did well. So I was not seeing the offer in sight. I knew I did well. I'm like, it could just be something. They could just give me any reason. But I got the job. It was on that same day. I had just gotten back to my place. I had just gotten down from the tram and I was walking home. That was when I received the call. I didn't want to pick the call at first, because I'm like, oh, they'll just say, oh, thank you for coming. We're so sorry. Like, they would normally do. So I was like, should I pick this call? And at the same time, I was like, you know what? Or you just take this call, and if it's a rejection, you just go home, have your bath, and sleep. Like, because I'm just tired. I took the call. It was just about to go off. So I picked the call, and it was like, hello, Oyin, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just got back to my place. And it was like, okay, I would like to tell you something. So good news. Immediately I heard good news. trust me, every other detail, I'm not sure I remember what he said, but I just knew that, okay, I had gotten the job. I was happy, but it felt like a dream. So, because I was like, oh, thank you very much for informing me. I would look out for your email to get the official offer. It was really surprised. I think he was expecting me to be so excited. I was excited in my mind, but I had not fully taking it in. And I'm like, wait, the same job interviews that I've been doing all this while, like, is this how they get offer? Is this how people get told that they've gotten a job? I was just very numb, like for like a minute or more, like until I got up. I told my flatmate, she was the first person because I just got home. I told my flatmate and she was like, I told you we're going to get it, because she kept telling me that, Oyin, you get this job, you get this job, you get this job. And she was like, I told you. I still did not believe it. And then I texted my boyfriend, because shout out to that man. I think I have the best boyfriend in the world, because honestly, so many times when I was tired of doing applications, or probably having to go to work and then come back home, I don't have the strength to do applications. He does it for me so many times. And when I have interview, because it's like a similar line, not design, but like a similar line, he would advise me, he would prep with me, he would look at my tasks. And I have the best boyfriend in the world. Like, he's my cheerleader. He has always believed in me, even before we started dating. I'm very grateful for him. I'm also very grateful for my mentor, Victor Onazi, and his wife, the Sabi designer. Oh my God, they were very, very helpful. So I told them, those were the people that I told. And then I told my cousin, Tunde Phillips. Oh my God, these people have been like part of my journey, and they didn't make me give up, especially Tunde as well, because he was the one that even made me to go into design. And yeah, I think those were the people that I told at first, because I did not, I could not announce it or tell the people that were with me, because it didn't feel real. I was like, okay, no, I'm going to wait for the offer letter. So until that comes, until I start, my background checks and everything, it's still going to be unreal. So yeah, but I was quite excited, but not in that very moment. I think it took me days in order to like take it all in, because I didn't believe that I'd just gotten a senior role. Yeah. If I were to advise someone that is just about to embark on this journey, what I would say is, as far as CV is concerned, I know it can be very draining, and a lot of people will say, oh, tailor your CV to meet the job description. But for real, let's face reality, that's very difficult and is not sustainable. So I would just advise that whatever you've done or whatever skills you have, ensure that it carries the major keywords. Mostly, let it just contain all of those things, so that you don't have to always duplicate or tailor any CV, because job applications can be very exhausting. So for portfolio, ensure that your portfolio has like different projects from different industries. So that way, say you applied for a fintech job, on your portfolio there's like at least a fintech project, like things like that. So that way it caters for it. So if they were to go through your portfolio, there will be something that will be convincing enough. And for interviews, I would say that sometimes, for me, rather than listen to music, sometimes I just play interviews from YouTube, tailored to my own role. I just listen to people talk. I jot down some things, and some skills that they do have, I tend to like read about it, the ones I don't know, just to keep me. So it was more of preparation meeting opportunities, so that when the interview comes, it's not at that point you are just trying to interview. Because I think for me, another thing that helped is, the more I did interviews, the more I became very confident. Even if you're not getting the interview, you're already preparing as though you have an interview. The preparation is going to help you at some point, and especially it's going to help you boost your confidence. I think you should just not give up, and I hate to sound like a motivational speaker, to be fair, because I know all of these things that I'm saying, nothing is new, you've read it all. But I'll just say that rather than listen to music, just listen to interviews. Go on Reddit before your interview as well. Search for what people are saying. Let's say this stage you have an interview with the hiring manager. You can type it on Reddit, like what to expect in an interview with the hiring manager. If you have a whiteboarding session, you can go there, like things like that will help you. I had friends that were also in the same shoes with me, so we were always doing our applications together. I was looking for a job. I will also send jobs to my friends, and then when they get interviews and I don't get, I'm not even upset. I had people that I could rub my minds with and everything, and then when they come, oh, I got unfortunately, and these people, maybe they are even more skilled than you. It gives you that understanding that, okay, it's not a skill problem, it's just about getting something. And you just know that if you mess up any interview, you know that it's not just you, like it's a common thing. And then there are some things that they will tell you about, like, oh, say they messed up a particular interview question and they could tell you about it. So when you come across that question, it's not new to you because you are well informed. Having people in that same space, rather than seeing them as a competition, but seeing them as companions, that okay, we are in this together, we are all going to get a job. I think, yeah, that works for me. The meet that landed at the Heathrow Airport in December 2023, and the me that is presently talking. If I were to advise that same Oyin back then, I would probably have told her to be aware that life is full of challenges and they are so inevitable, and the life that you're used to back home is different from this side. And I would have told her that there's light at the end of the tunnel. She knew all of these things, but it was on a surface level, because I would say that right now I've grown, and I know that I tell it to my friends that when next I go through a challenge, it doesn't have to be a job. When next I go through a challenge of having to, get something that I deeply want and I'm not getting it, this experience is going to remind me that it's very possible and it's going to come. Like the Bible says, though it tarries, it will surely come to pass. The me presently speaking will tell Oyin to be patient, and she shouldn't let our current situation get to her, because I would say that at some point, I don't want to use the D word, but I was in a bad place or dark place mentally and emotionally, because I didn't get what I wanted. For every rejections that I got, it got to me. I know at some point I took a break, a very long break off Instagram. My friends know that I love Instagram. I love posting on my story. I love talking to people. But when I had to face deep reality, I had to shut down everything. And I also kept postponing my happiness, like things that I needed to do. Oh, I would keep saying things like, oh, I'll travel when I get a job. I'll do this when I get a job. It was a lot of things of I'll do this when I get a job. And then the job never came until recently. Now I'm looking back at it that if I had lived the way I should have, it would have been better. So I think I would just tell myself to leave. Despite the challenges, just leave. Leave and try to walk on waters, even when you don't know how to swim. It's just I would just encourage myself to always see the possibility and just know that do not live within a given time frame. I think the time frame is what boxes you in, especially if you say, okay, I need to get a job within 8 months, and you don't get it in 8 months, and you see that you are devastated, you are down there emotionally. But if you don't give yourself a timeline, especially knowing that, having that belief in yourself that you are going to get something, and not just believe in yourself, obviously. For me, I put God first. So knowing that God will not mismanage your life, and you will definitely get something at the right time, and it's going to be perfect. Because I don't think, if I had probably gotten the job since, I don't think it would have been as perfect as this. I think this timing is so perfect. I have grown and I've done different kinds of jobs, and now with what I have, genuinely, I get to appreciate the beauty. I get to appreciate it more. Probably if things had come easier or easy for me, I might not be able to appreciate things as I do now. So yeah, I think the timing is just perfect. So would I say moving to the UK was worth it? Before now, I probably would have told you no, because honestly, the shege my eyes saw, for those that don't understand shege, the challenges that I faced, I didn't think I was going to overcome them. But right now, I would say yes. Yeah, because I'm in the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm in the light. I'm walking in that light right now. So I would say yes. But if you had asked me this 6 months, 8 months ago, My answer would be no, because I didn't get what I wanted and my plans did not match my reality. So, but right now, what am I most proud of? I think the art of not giving up. I'm very proud of myself that I didn't give up, because there were so many times where I didn't even want to apply for jobs. I didn't want to join my interviews. But despite the difficulties and challenges, I was still very determined to go for the type of career that I wanted.